listeners have probably heard about the New Brunswick mystery illness that's been going around, a neurological illness. There was an article on the Walrus that really encapsulated the whole situation. So I will present what they have said in their entirety. But essentially, one of the first news breaking cases was because it was a high school student back in 2019 who was experiencing muscle spasms, muscle wasting, and then this neurological disease went so far as to cause Alzheimer's like syndrome in his brain. And obviously, it was very concerning because of how young he was. But they were starting to notice this illness in older people. But I think that it was getting passed off as if it was Alzheimer's or dementia, and no one was looking into it that much further. In March of 2020, there were 43 patients who they felt had this mystery illness in New Brunswick, and they had no idea what was causing it or what was going on. They believed that this cluster was really, really worth investigating. Experts from Johns Hopkins, the Mayo Clinic, and the Cleveland Clinic all came forward saying that they thought that New Brunswick would be a great place to study a cluster like this, especially because mysterious neurological illnesses often lead to groundbreaking work in other illnesses. And the article even said something about how researching one illness helped do groundbreaking discoveries in like multiple sclerosis and other illnesses. So it's good to investigate these types of mysteries. And of course, because it's good to investigate these types of mysteries, New Brunswick put those investigations to a stop. So as I said, in March of 2020, there were 43 people who had it. By June 3rd of 2020, New Brunswick asked public health and all of the other experts around the world that had come forward to stand down from their working group, that they were going to keep the investigation internal amongst New Brunswick doctors and experts. And they got basically everybody to sign an NDA, and they were not going to be disclosing anything until they felt like the investigation had finished. At that point, there were 48 cases, 39 of them confirmed to be the same neurological mystery illness, and 6 that had become fatal and resulted in people dying. Dr. Marrero, who has been working on this specifically at I think it's called the Mind Clinic in Moncton, but they're basically focused on this neurological illness. He wasn't really allowed to give a lot of details to the Walrus or the CBC. They've both featured articles really recently. He wasn't allowed to give a lot of details because of the fact that this is still an ongoing investigation and what New Brunswick's government has dictated he's allowed to do. But he did say that there are over 100 patients now that are actually being investigated for it outside of the 48 cases that are confirmed. Of course, I'll start by giving my mild opinion that it sounds a little bit like New Brunswick's trying to hide something, that maybe they are trying to hide something. And I find this of personal interest because a lot of the symptoms do sound a lot like what my mother had before she was also diagnosed with dementia. The same muscle spasms, losing the ability to walk, hallucinating, muscle wasting, all of it. So I find it personally interesting. Fidel, what do you think?
I mean, this is not new. There has been ties of chemical fertilizers and chemical things going on the forestry that has been tied to illnesses. In St. John, there has been other people that have gotten rare illnesses and cancer due to the chemical pollution of a plant that is very famous, owned by the Earring family. Um, there has been many articles about this particular things and illnesses caused by pollution. Uh, that is what it seems to be from what I have read. That seems to be something related. Uh, Again, this is not new. I think there is a cover up, and there has been cover up. There has been many people that have been trying to out this out about uh, chemical pollution in New Brunswick, mostly done within the Irving plants that has been going around. Some people are speculating that this illness might be tied to that as well. But this is not new. This is something that the New Brunswick government has been, not just the current one, but the past ones, have been aware that there is a problem with certain illnesses in this province that are being caused. And a lot of doctors have been coming forward saying that this might be caused due to chemical pollution. Uh, they have either ousted these doctors or done some regulations saying you can't do this because you're not a licensed New Brunswick doctor or scientist, or licensed by the province, so you can't put this report. Again, there has been many people trying to do this study, and I think personally, I think it's shameful that for many years or decades, the government has been putting corporations. And again, we're not saying that this might be directly tied into it, but over the years, there has been scientists saying that this might be tied into it, but they haven't let them go in forward into these studies. So I'm not understanding why you're not letting professionals getting this study, and I also don't understand why the New Brunswick government doesn't want this give to public access. The only thing that bears in mind is that there is a private corporation, there's money involved, and people that don't want this to be seen, just because of the fact that there is too many cases of not just this. There's many things going on, and there has been too many people, too many reporters. If again, you could go to Canonland, they have something about this. The CBC has something about this. There's independent media like the like the NB Media Cup saying things about this. There have been many media platforms saying it, and they usually don't get any traction, and that's the problem. And the people don't get it, but the government has never want to put the public information. So again, I think there is something's going on. Who knows what it is, but it seems to be kind of related to what previous people have been saying before.
Clinton, what about you?
Totally. I mean, I agree with you both. In cases like this, when there is a shocking neurological illness or disease, as far as everyone knows, that has never been documented anywhere on the planet, and the media and the government and even the hospitals are being told or forced to silence this news in this little province. I mean, and there's just no explanation for it. The only thing you can really do is follow the money. like Fidel and like Hillary are alluding to, like, what possible reason could there be for this silence around the issue? One reason could be we don't want to panic the public. We don't want to create widespread and massive fear. Well, too late. That part already happened. Like, the news had already gotten out. So you can't use that as an excuse. I can't think of any other reason. So reports from The Guardian, in which I guess the reason this came into the news again recently is because there's a person from the Vitalite Health Network that is being called a whistleblower, who is blowing the lid on, like you both said, there was only 43 to 48 cases reported almost 2 years ago now, and it's been nothing since. Like, that's insane. I've heard numbers up to, what was it, up to 100, 150 different people. Follow the money. Like, there has got to be some organization in this province that doesn't want this information going out. And in fact, in The Guardian, there were federal scientists who said that, you know, federal scientists and professionals, and they have teams on standby wanting to come into the province to help investigate this phenomenon. And the New Brunswick government, according to these news reports, is refusing. They have this unexplainable neurological disease affecting young people and old people alike, completely ruining their lives. And you've got all these people on hand saying, we want to come help and figure out what this is. And the province is saying no. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like, the potential to help solve this and figure it out is so huge. And I think you already mentioned, Hillary, it could help lead to further advancements in science, further knowledge, contribute to the greater pool. I think it's something in the water, in the air, or in the soil. We know for years now that in New Brunswick, it is perfectly legal to spray incredibly harmful chemicals that are banned in many other countries and places in the world, like glyphosate and all kinds of other things that that help to increase the profits of the corporations that spray them. And there's been petitions for, I believe, decades to stop these harmful chemicals from being sprayed, and nothing's happening. And now this mysterious illness is popping up. Um, it's atrocious. We've got people migrating here from all over the country that have never heard of this because it's not in the news. More and more people coming here, and it's just hush, 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 hush. This should be talked about quite often. We should be, forget federal scientists. We should be inviting global scientists, the brightest minds from all over the world, to work on this. And it's really angering and it's really scary because while 150 people is a really small amount in New Brunswick, it could be affecting so many more that haven't come forward, that haven't been properly assessed, and who knows where this could go to. Yeah, I mean, it's just to sum it all up, I mean, all I can say is, and I don't say this often, but this is like the perfect case scenario, is follow the money when you're trying to figure out the answer as to why they're not accepting help. It's not being exposed in the media. People in the health network that even speak about it are called whistleblowers. Follow the money.
Now, just to let you know, before Hillary continues, this is like, there has been other illnesses that have been reported in places like St. John and numerous areas about that they might be chemically related unknown illnesses. So other things like cancer, like that provoke cancer illnesses. So again, this is, if you go to this, you Google it, this is not new. This is quite old.
I just wanted to add that, like, to Clinton's point, it's not only that New Brunswick is turning away people that are willing, like public health was involved. They had created a survey to try to get like a consensus of information from all the people that they had identified that were affected, figuring out where they worked, what they did, what their air quality was like, where they were living, and like find some sort of common denominators as a place to start. And like federal scientists were involved, and then something happened. And the government of New Brunswick made everybody like pack up and get out. And like global people did want to be involved. Like I said, like people from the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, John Hopkins, all in the States, they were prepared. They were coming here. They were like literally on the plane. And New Brunswick was like, we want no one in this working team that is not part of the government of New Brunswick or within New Brunswick to be a part of it. And they sent everybody away. But like public health was there. They were working on it. So it's almost, it's worse. You had the help. They were there. They were implicated and involved. And then they took public health's framework and continued to use it while like apparently openly criticizing, like, oh, a survey is not going to be enough to fix anything. But then they still conducted the survey. And then they put down the NDA, and now no one's allowed to really speak about it anymore. But other people were involved. And then they sent everybody packing. Yes, Clinton.
It's just, I'm just going to draw really broad comparisons here, but it's kind of like, like when Russia shot down the plane over the Ukraine or something, and they wouldn't let people in to investigate the site, or when some kind of huge issue happens in the world and the United Nations or someone wants to go in to the crash site or to ground zero and try to put the pieces together and figure out what happened, and those countries are blocking and preventing them. Like, well, why? And why did it get kicked out? It's probably because they found something. They found a reason. They found a connection that they want to bury. It's like finding aliens. It's like the conspiracy theories about the government like knowing about aliens and being hush hush about it and like making people disappear that know something about it. Like I said, Fidel, very broad comparison, but it's just the same sort of behavior. Why in the world would they have accepted all these people, brought them in, and then shut them out? Like over a bad argument, over a poker game? Like, no, there had to have been something that was determined that would have been really, really friggin' damning that made them kick everyone else out.
But I mean, conspiracy theories are one thing, and that's something that but these are literally scientists that are saying, let us go and investigate, and let us go and see, and the government saying, no, we don't want you to do this. And there has been crazy information over the years of things affecting illnesses affecting New Brunswick population, and it just gets under the water. A conspiracy theory would be something that would be kind of made up, or kind of like a very broad thing. But unfortunately, here there are facts. The fact is that we have chemical toxins that are allowed in this province that are not allowed. That's a fact. The fact is that there has been many people complaining about pollution and diseases about the pollution in a nearby industrial area. That's also a fact. And the fact is that it just happens to be that the corporation that owns those controls the newspaper media, and they do not out these things, and the public media, they don't, the public government stop this. This is all facts. Like, conspiracy theory would be like, oh no, that's a lie, but there's definitely something here that, if there wasn't, they could let third party investigation do it, and it would be simple, and then just let it die if there's nothing in it. But they are not doing that. And this is not, we're not talking about like people from out of this, we're talking about the federal government here. Like, the federal government is the one that wants to intervene, and the provincial government is saying, no, we don't want you to do that. So it's definitely a lot of more factors than conspiracy, and it's kind of sad that this type of thing still happens in this province. But hopefully this will change at some point.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really sad. I'm interested to see if, like, I emailed because of the similarities with my mom's case, interested to see if they get back to me, just because they did a lot of the investigations in 2019 for this specific neurological disease. And my mom was diagnosed in 2014. So it would be sort of, I don't know, proof that, like, along with what Fidel's saying, this is something that's living and has been living in and amongst New Brunswickans for a very long time. And maybe it was affecting older people and they were just writing them off as dementia cases. And now that it's happening in, like, literally 18, 19, 20-year-olds, they're able to see that there's something much bigger going on. I'll be interested to see if I get any answers. I know that nothing's going to fix my mom or change that situation, but if I could contribute to statistics for the greater good of science as a scientific gal, I would. But yeah, New Brunswick, they're hiding something, or they're just trying to cover their own asses, as they tend to do. So it is what it is.